Hey, welcome back. As you can tell, we're not on the truck, we're at home, and wanted to bring you a video because I'm doing this thing about investing for truck drivers, doing stocks, and this is just another video in that series. So, what is happening, in my opinion, is people think getting into stocks is too hard. They think that they have to do some extraordinary thing to get into it. Actually, it's very simple. It's not complicated at all. It's as hard as you want to make it. I'll put it that way. And like I said, whenever I first bought my first stock, which was Ford, it went up, it went down, and I didn't know why. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out why it was doing what it was doing. Was it just luck or what? So I started talking to the people that was in the chat room. If you don't know what I'm talking about up to this point, you can go back and watch the other videos in this series. I've put them all in a playlist on my channel. It will be called Trucking and Investing. So if you're wanting to know more about this, you can check that playlist out. But the chat room that I was in, this was back in '07. I started talking to the guys and they said, "Do you know how to read a stock chart?" And I said, "No. I have no idea what a stock chart reading is. I mean, I've seen stock charts, but I don't know what they are. I don't know how to read them." And it took me a little while to figure it all out. I watched a ton of videos on YouTube. I read books. I read online. I talked to the guys in the chat room. In the end, I found out that all a stock chart is a measure of a stock, whether it's going up, whether it's going down, or whether it's just trending sideways. That's really all a stock chart is. So you don't need to make it overly complicated. There are triggers of when to buy, and there's triggers of when to sell. There's triggers of when a stock's momentum is growing and when it's decreasing. We'll get into all of that other stuff later. This is just the basics of what a stock chart is and how to read one and how to set one up. It's really all it is. And if you can get the basics of it, all the rest of it will just come to you. I really believe that. It's like riding a bicycle. You know, if you know the basics of riding a bicycle, you know how to jump and do tricks and everything. That comes along later. But you have to get the basics down first. That's all I'm wanting to do with this series. I don't want to get too complicated with it. I don't want to fry anybody's brain or short circuit anybody, because I think if you overcomplicate it at first, you push people away and then they don't want to do it. So let's get into the basics of setting up a stock chart and how to read the basics of a stock chart. And then we may just touch on a little bit more about when to buy and when to sell, just the basics of it. So let's switch over to the computer and see what we can do here. Okay, so what I use to chart with is a website called stockcharts.com right there. Um, With stockcharts.com, let me get to it here. The very first thing you will see is this. Now, up here at the top, you will see enter symbol or name. Now, if you are just getting into stocks, you don't know what a stock symbol is. That is basically the tag for the stock, if you want to look at it that way. If you don't know how to find the symbols, you can use what is called a stock screener. We will get into another video about how to use a stock screener later. Right now, I think it's more important to set up the stock chart. And what I will use in this is a symbol that I have memorized, and that is CVLG, Covenant Logistics. And once you get into this, you will see something like this right here. Very complicated in my opinion. I don't like the layout of this. I don't like the color of this. Also, stockcharts.com is free. And if you will notice that it has a lot of ads. If you want to do a paid for version, you can go right here, log in, put in your billing information in, and you can pay for stockcharts.com, and it will probably erase all of the ads. Now, StockCharts has upgraded since 2007 to 2010. Whenever I was using it a lot, they have upgraded, and you can see down here, this is all of your stuff that you put in to set up your stock chart. I personally don't like the layout of this. You can call me old school, you can call me whatever you want, but I don't like this new setup they have. And you can also use this on your phone. It's very easy to use it on your phone as well. And I'll show you how to save it here shortly in the video. What I would do myself is you can navigate this. You can set this one up, this new one up, the same way that I'm about to show you. I'm just showing you the old way because that's what I used to use. You click on this More Tools, go up to Classic Sharp Charts, and another ad. And then you get the older version of stockcharts.com. Same thing, same way the stock set up, and every time you refresh your page, you will get a new group of ads going here. So, like I said, if you don't like that, you can change it. Now, the very first thing that I would want to change is the layout of this. I don't like this layout. The very first thing I will change is this, OHLC bars thick. What that is these things right here. These are not candlesticks, these are the bars. And I get confused looking at those. So let's change that to candlesticks. Sometimes you have to push this update button, sometimes it will update it automatically. But let's update it, and it changes the whole dynamic of it. Let's go down to size, and we'll go to landscape, and that brings it back up. It was on 360, and that's just your size, you know, of the whole stock chart here. I like landscape size myself, whatever you prefer, and we get more ads. So another thing I like to use as standard is a 2-year stock chart. Your period will be daily. Don't do weekly because that stretches it out too far. Predefined range, you know, that is setting it up here. If you go to, you know, whatever, then that will change this part. I like to manually have it open to where I can change it. Color scheme. Now this one is set on Murphy. What I like to use myself is this one called Night. And that pops a little bit better. It makes it easier to look at. And go back and close your ads out. So Night, your color up and your color down, that will be these colors. Let me show you what that does. You can go like red and blue, update it, and see that changes that. If you like a more vivid color, I guess, and this is changing this. The reason I don't change it, the reason I set it to auto, is because I will show you right here. Close ads back out. Go to update. Green means up, red means down. So, that's why I set it to auto, because, it will show you the red and the greens, the up and the downs. Legend, whatever you want to put for that. I'll usually use default. Volume off. You use it as an overlay. Color volume, that is these lines here. You want to use that as a color. Y-axis label, that is your triggers right here. Or your price point. I'm sorry, it's not a trigger, it's your price point. See this white line, it'll have it circled in white. That's your y-axis. Price labels, I'll show you what that does. That puts all these prices here of highs and lows. If you want to do that, that's fine. I mean, it adds a little more complication to it, but it shows you, where your prices are in the stock. You can see with this, it has a lot of ways to customize it, and anything else that I have ever found on brokerages or anything else will not allow you to do this. So stockcharts.com is awesome, plus it's free. So smooth lines, I don't click on that. I mean, it just smooths your lines out a little bit, and I mean, it doesn't really matter if you have it on or off. Full quote, what that is I'll click off of it and show you. See how the top disappeared? It doesn't have any information here at the top. When you click on full quote, it will put all this information back up here at the top, and you really need this because this will show your industrial and trucking. That is the sector that Covenant Logistics in. It's in industrial, and the subsection is trucking. So whenever you get to your stock screener, you can compare other trucking companies to Covenant, see what they're doing on their stock chart. So that's good information to have. Just this box right here, we're about to do away with this box, so don't get too interested in this one. Your market cap shows how big of a company this is. It does pay a dividend, so if you buy into Covenant stock and you hold it, they will pay you a dividend. Little extra money for you, as long as the stock's going up, of course. They'll pay you dividend. They're wanting you to buy their stock, so they'll pay you a little bit. This is your PE and your EPS. You can Google that, what that is. That's just technical stuff. Shows their earnings and stuff like that. Here's your date, Friday 29th November. That is actually not today's date, but this is the last day this stock was traded, which was Friday the 29th. The stock market was open the day after Thanksgiving. So that was the last day that this was open. It went up 0.29%. The change was 17 cents per share, the last, and here is your volume. That's the total volume of shares that were traded that day. 25,000 shares, and this is your volume down here. Another cool thing you can do with this is you can push this inspect button, and it will bring up this, so you can pull it down here and, you know, go to the 29th. It's real delicate, but you can go to the 29th and you can see your volume there's 25,245, and it matches up with 25,245 right there. So that is just an inspection thing. It's got your lines on it here where you can line up your stock chart, your highs. You can see where you had a peak here, a peak here, a peak here. So you can line this up, see where your peaks are, and see you're breaking out. If you look all the way over to the very right, up there at 61.54, do you see that? That is a breakout peak. So you had a peak here, a peak here, peak here, and a peak here. Whenever you set it like this, you had a breakout on the left. It went down. It didn't quite break up right here in the center where we're at, but then it broke out again, a smaller level here. You see how that broke out, and then you went way up over here. So see, when you put it up here, you're way above the graph. So that shows you that this is a stock that is trending up, and that's all a stock chart is. It shows you the trends. So let's get back down here and finish doing this. I take off extended hours. I don't do extended hours. Let me close this inspection because it'll keep popping up with ads. And adjust for dividends. I don't do that because I don't really care if a stock pays dividends or not myself. Now, this is your overlays. Overlays is this stuff right in here, your overlays. So what you will want to do, or what I do, you can set it up however you want. I will get rid of this one on top. And that one was your white line. That white line is just showing a base. It's just basically a line drawing under the base, and you don't need it. I mean, it's just overcomplicating your stock chart. Let me finish doing this, and then I'll go back to the chart, and we'll look at it more. Price performance above. That is what this box here is. Now, what I like to do with that top box is change it to an RSI, and it will automatically set your parameters here. The position is above, your volume is behind your stock chart, and your MACD 12, 26, and 9 is standard for a MACD. I'll get into that just in a minute. And that's below, this is above. So when we update it, let's go over and close our ads out real quick because I know they're coming. Now, this is how I have my chart set up. This is the way I've done it for years. I've always done it the same way. The only thing different maybe is these price points here. I'll change those because it looks a little clustered to me whenever I have those in, and I don't really care, the history of the price of the stock. All I'm wanting to do is this. One other cool thing that you should do is click this button right here, zoom thumbnail, and I'll show you what it does. It puts a little sidebar on it here. Let me get rid of these ads one last time. Now, what the sidebar is, this whole thing here is your days, your last few days of trading this stock. And it is basically right here. It is a cutoff. See this 61.54, 61.54? It's cutting it off right here at the end. Now, why this is very important is because it will show you your buy or sell signal. Your buy or your sell signal. It shows you a little bit of your MACD right here. Shows a little tail end of your RSI, which is right here. And then it shows the tail end of your stock, which is right here. Now that we've got it set up, like I said, this is a much simpler version. Here is your new sharp charts. If you want to go back into the new section here, or if you just want to set the new section up, maybe you can get more used to using the new one than this old one. This old one is just what I'm used to. I mean, I'm not telling you you must use this, and eventually they'll probably get rid of this. They're just keeping it around for old people like me that are used to it. Now, once you have all of this set up the way you want it, however you move all this, whatever color scheme you use, all of this, and we'll get into what this means here in just a minute, but when you get this all set up the way that you want it, you get this button right here that says permalink. Permalink will pop this up right here. Permalinks can be bookmarked, saved, or shared with others. What I do is I will highlight it, right click on it, and go to this web page. Now what this web page is exactly like where we were just at. Let's close this out. It's the same thing. It's a duplicate page. The only difference is this is in a different browser. See, this is this browser link here. This is this browser link. And what you do is you go over here and you will save this bookmark. Let's just save it right here, saved. Now I don't know why it puts this dash before the CVLG. I don't know. You don't need to put that that's actually underscore. You don't need to put that in there. I don't know why it saves it like that, but you can do bookmarks, all bookmarks, mobile. I use mobile because I can link it with my phone. That's why I do this. So you just push done. Now whenever you come over here to your three dots and you go to bookmarks, you can go down to your mobile bookmarks. Here's one that I had saved previously, and like I said, that underscore is there, and I'm not sure why it does that, but let me close this out. Now what you can do is you can close your previous screen. You've only got this one up, right? And you can type in another stock, like let's just do something non-trick related. Procter and Gamble, PG, Procter and Gamble, and see it has all of this information at the top the same way. It has your stock chart the same way. It has your thumbnail over here the same way. Everything is set up exactly the same. Now why this is important to do this is because when you're using your stock screener, as I've said in the past, we will manually do all of our checks in stocks. We don't just take somebody's word, hey, buy this stock is good, it's trending up. You'll get so much different disinformation when you get into stocks. This way, you know, if somebody just comes up to you and says, hey, buy Tesla. Tesla is a really good stock. It's a really good thing to do. I have a lot of these memorized. TSLA is Tesla. and you pull it up, and there's Tesla Incorporated. So you've got your standard stock here that you are familiar with. You set it up to where you're comfortable with looking at it. Look how much volume Tesla's got. Tesla's just a crazy stock. But look what it's doing. It's not really moving up at a fast or huge fast level, right? It's kind of going sideways, but look at these prices. Down here it was at 138 and now it is at 361. That is a massive jump just from May of 2024 till now. Massive jump. Massive, massive. So let me get into this without getting into a stock screener. Let's just say that you want to look at a stock, but you don't know the stock symbol. You don't have it memorized. You don't know what to do. So open up a new tab. You can go to Google. And this is some stuff that I was searching. So you type in, let's see, what would we type in? What is the stock symbol for Amazon? And then you see it's right there. Here will be your stock symbol, AMZN. So see this chart here, it doesn't give you any information whatsoever. This is your Google stock chart. Very, very basic stock chart. It looks like it's trending up, right? Well, let's go look at it. Let's inspect it. AMZN. So you type in AMZN and then update, and there you go. There's your Amazon. Now Amazon currently is at, I don't have my y-axis on, do I? Yep, I do. Oh, I see it. It's right there. Your close of the day is 207.89. 207.89. It's right there. There's your close of the day. I think something got off here. Let me play around with this just for a minute. Yeah. When you put your thumbnail up, it disappears. This 207.89 disappears. I don't know why they have it set up like that. But anyway, let's go back. Put our price labels in. And put your zoom thumbnail in. And if you don't like any of this, take all this stuff off. See how that 207 disappeared right there? The close of the day. So your thumbnail, I guess it shows it on your thumbnail instead of showing it right here. That will be zoomed in and it pushes it over here, which that's fine as long as you can see what the closing price is. I always look right here to see what the closing price was, but now that you got it zoomed in, you can see it better. Now let me explain what these things do. Your RSI is a 14. That is standard RSI 14. You can change this. You can go down here and change your parameters, and you can read more about what RSI is. Basically, what RSI shows is if the stock is oversold or if it's undersold. Like right here, see, it was undersold. And this is what stock investors call triggers. So it's showing you a trigger right there. It's undersold. And you can see here it dropped way down, so it's showing that it's undersold. Now what you have to be careful with here is you don't want to buy a stock. See, this one overall is trending up. You don't want to buy a stock that's going this way, that's trending down, and go by your triggers. That's where it gets more complicated in stocks that are trending down, because people will use the same method on a stock trending down. I'll show you. Let me see if I got that saved here. Yeah, I do. This is a stock that I have looked at for a really long time. It's just the one that I have saved. And see, I don't have my price points and everything on there. But if you do this, see how your trigger is showing right here to buy? And that goes along here. And then your MACD is down. Everything is showing a trigger to buy right in here. But if you'd have bought it, it only comes up a little bit and then it falls on down. Would that have been a good time to buy it? Not really, because let's inspect. Because if you'd have bought right here, see at the very top, I'm showing right here. If you started to buy right here, you're at $2. You're $2.50 a share. And then it started falling. See how it fell? And you're still at the end of this buy, you're at $1. So if you'd have bought it at $2, $2.50, you would have just kept falling and falling and falling. This is what is called a false trigger. And it's a false trigger because the stock is trending down. You know, you don't want to use these same types of triggers on a stock when it's trending down. That's why I've gotten to where I don't even like messing with stocks that are in a downtrend, period. That's why I just keep this one as a quick reference, and then I can go back, you know, and if you want to put that zoom thumbnail in and you want to put your price labels in, and see, we're just right back to the way it was. And this is how I got it set up, my RSI and the MACD. MACD is a little different than RSI because MACD, what it does, let me close these ads out again. What MACD shows different than RSI is MACD will show the strength of the stock, the strength of the uptrend. Because see, this is going up, but your stock didn't really go up that much. It's showing the strength of it. When it's way down here, your stock is weak. It's showing a weakness. But when it starts coming up, it starts gaining strength. So say you know, if you move your line straight up here, see how it's showing weakness? So this is actually falling while this is gaining. So, you know, it's showing that it's gaining strength. And then it has a breakout right there. That's what they call it, is a breakout at this 380, whatever that is, 362, 382. It actually broke out and it had a quick run. Now, what a lot of day traders do, and this will also hurt you, in my opinion. I'm showing you the bad things to do here too, is getting what they call a pop and drop. So you have a pop here and then it dropped. Because the overall stock is downtrending. Now, when it changes is what you use these moving averages for. You've got a 50-day moving average and a 100-day moving average. You want your 50 line, the blue line, to be on top up here. You want it on top. See how it was on top up here and it was trending up? When your red line is on top, just think of it as, someone yelling code red. Whenever code red is coming on here, your strength is in your red line. You don't want your strength in your red line because it's pushing the stock down. And it's showing that it's in a downward trend. It's falling. You're having a code red moment here, and it's falling down. And some people will play around with these stocks. It's like playing around with fire, in my opinion, because you don't really know what's going on. You can kind of judge it, like right here would be a trigger to buy, right? And it's trending up. You can get a little quick money here, maybe. Maybe. But if you don't find the really right time to buy it and to sell it, it'll fall on you right here. You'll have a fall down. And that's where you got with this. That's why it's so important to have this MACD. It will show you the strength of the stock. Now see what is happening here is going down, up, and then it has a wiggle, then it went down, up, it has this further fall, and then it has a really long up. See how it's really building up here? But then look what happens. It levels out. It levels out. Why did it do that? Why is it not doing this? Because it's showing that the volatility of the stock is slowing. The craziness of the stock, it's slowing. It's leveling out. It's stretching itself out and it's leveling itself out. And you can see it right here. And see how the volume is picking up a little bit here compared to over here. Here's the three things you need to keep in mind when you're looking at these charts like this one here. The main thing you need to look at is your RSI right here. Is it oversold? If it's way up here, if this, shaded area was up here and it was way overbought, see, it's not showing that it's overbought. Right here and right here is showing two things. And this is the history, it's showing history. Because we can't predict the future, right? But it's saying by the history, these 2 points are showing that the stock is oversold. And right here, it shows that it was oversold. Your line is getting more volatile, and then it starts leveling out. Your other trigger will be your volume. When your volume just starts, if this was just flat, say it was all flat right here, and then you had this spike, and then like say you had another spike that was way up here, and another spike that was way up here, and another spike that was way up here, you will see that more people are getting interested in this stock and they're pushing it up. They're doing a lot of buys and sells. It's getting a lot of activity, so it'd be pushing the stock up. And that's what you look for. That is your three main triggers. Now, like I said, you can set your stock chart up different ways. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. I just like using the RSI. I like using these moving averages. And I like using the MACD. I keep my stock chart simple, easy to read. Most of the time, I don't even have this thumbnail on here. I'm just showing you what this is. But if you want to zoom in here, see what's going on? It's falling. It's hit its peak on the MACD, and now it's about to cross over and it's about to fall. This is where you really need to watch this stock right here. Right here. Keep this saved in your bookmark. I also have a notepad that I write a lot of stocks down in, and I can go back and just take a quick look at them. I'll show you a couple that I have saved. Let me get my notebook out here. And I may have gotten the wrong. No, I've got my notebook right here. Here's a couple that I have wrote down. Um, BCHG. Let's look at it. BCHG. Let's see what this stock is doing. And this was one that I just randomly found, using a stock screener, which we will get into using a stock screener in another video. I'm just wanting to play around with this stock chart to show you what's going on. Now, what do you see with this one? The reason I wrote this stock down is because it's had this really long uptrend right here. And then it started getting crazy, and you started getting this crazy volume thing going on here. And then you started getting the volatility. You're going crazy. But right here was why I wrote it down, because it is going down, and whenever it gets down here, somewhere, and this green line starts coming back up, as long as your blue line, see your blue line and your red line's about to cross, as long as they're about to cross right there, that could show an uptick in that. Now, it could go either way, because like I said, nobody can accurately predict what a stock is going to do. They will tell you they can. I am an expert, and I know exactly what this stock is going to do. I can tell you from all my years of doing it, this right here is a guess. Now, right here was a much better time because you've got all of your indicators going. You've got, your RSI right here in the middle. You've got your blue line above your red line. Your volume's picking up. It's showing strength. It's going up here. You're on your strong side. This is your weak side down here. This is your strong side up here. Right here would have been an excellent time to get into this, because you can see you shot above. You're on the strength of the side. Your volume started picking up. It kind of flattened out, and then boom, it just shot up. So if you'd have bought this stock, right here at the bottom, and also you don't want to buy your stock way up here either, because this is, too high. You want to buy it down here. This is the area where you want to buy. And if you would have bought this, say right here at this 290, look at, you could have went all the way up to $23 a share. That would have made somebody rich right there. I mean, super rich. Can you imagine putting $10,000 into that stock right there and riding it up to this point? That would have been crazy. But that's what you look for. You look for your RSI being somewhere in the middle or being down here. You want to have your blue line above your red line, your 50-day moving average above your 100-day. You want it kind of tight too. You don't want it real far apart. See how my plus can totally fit in there, and it doesn't fit in here, or it just barely fits in, but it won't fit in here. You want your stock to be tight. You want your volume to pick up. You want your RSI to be good. And you want your MACD on the plus side up here. And if you get all of these indicators just right, this is a unicorn. This is absolute unicorn stock right here. And then whenever you buy it, say you bought it like right in here, when the volume first started picking up, everything was trending up. See, it had a long trend coming up. You had a little volume spike here. You had a big volume spike here. And your MACD's up. I mean, this was just a perfect situation right there. If you could have bought this like right in there, like 275, that would have been right about 270, 275, 250 even. If you could have got it for 250 a share, that's, almost 10 times your money. Do 10,000 times 10. There's where you would have been with your money right there. Bam. and you could have sold it. Nobody is ever going to pick the perfect time to buy in. Nobody's ever going to pick the perfect time to sell. But if you know how to use these stock charts, you know how to read them, you know what all your triggers are, you get it set up simple like this. I wouldn't mess with like 10 different stock charts. There's a lot of people that do that. They'll have like 3 screens on their computer going, and they'll have 10 stock charts set up. Each stock chart looks different than the rest. To me, that's confusing. Just use one template. That's what we do here. We got one template. We've got it over here in our bookmarks. We've got it saved in our bookmarks, and that's easy access that we can pull it up whenever we got our stocks and we're wanting to check each one of them out. We can just type it in, bam, it's up here on our template, and we can go and inspect it right here. You can start inspecting it. You can start dissecting it and seeing what's going on here. My advice on this stock right here is I would read more into it. I would Google this company, Grayscale Bitcoin Cash Trust. It's on the OTC market. I would Google that. I would Google it, and I would read all the information about it to see what's going on with that, what's going on with this whole thing, what people are saying about it. Just get as much information about this as you can. Now, if you're wanting to just put like $25 in it, and with a hope, you've got a lot of red here, so it's been going down. But, if you have a long line of red, then that's signaling that it can go up. Like right here, you have a long line of greens. That's signaling that it's overbought, and it's about to come down. Right here, you're not signaling that it's overbought. You're signaling here that you're in a downtrend. It's going under your line here, but it's going to go back up, and you just had this huge pop, and then it's starting to fall down. This is kind of a weak stock. It really is. It's showing weakness, but who knows? I mean, we can't predict the future. We can't. That's why I have it wrote down in my book. I have it wrote down in my notebook, and I'm just sitting here holding it and waiting to see what happens. So there you go. Hopefully this all didn't confuse you. Just set up one template, have it ready, to put all of your stock symbols in whenever you do your scans. Stockcharts.com. It's the best stock chart that I have ever found on the internet. And I've done this for years. I've been taking a really long break from it, but I have used just about everything that there is to use out on the internet. Brokerage websites will not let you do this. Maybe some, higher paid brokerage websites will let you do it, but as far as a free version that you can set up in the template that you want, and you can save it to your bookmark and it will always be there, I can't find anything better myself. So I mean, that's where you're at with this. You've got a free version that you can customize just for you and to save it. I mean, you can't beat this. Stockcharts.com is the way to go, in my opinion. So hopefully you've got this figured out. If you have any questions, you can put it down in the comments and I'll try to answer it. If you have found something better than this, you can put it down in the comments. I have looked everywhere and I can't find anything better. So there you go. Anyway, the next video we'll probably put out is how to find these symbols, the BCHG or Amazon or whatever like that. I showed you one way, you just Google it. What if you're wanting to look at a whole group of these that are similar, you know, in an entire sector or something? I will show you another website. It's not stockcharts.com, but it's another website that is the best stock screener that I have ever used. So look for that one. And it was something that I really liked using back whenever I was day trading. And it's free as well. And you can customize it as well. So be looking for that video if you want to do customized stock screeners and find your stocks that you're interested in buying. So without any other information to give you on this, I'm going to close this out, cut this video here. You guys take care, be careful, watch out for each other out there, and we will catch you on the next one.